This is the Apple Watch Series 6. Today, in this video, we're going to go through the entire experience of using it. From how it feels in your wrist and in your grip, how tight and comfortable it is, to the software experience, like what you can actually do with it, how it actually helps you throughout your day, and how well it performs with the hardware, to the hardware itself, all the way down to the cool new extra features and how well they actually work. Okay, you ready? Well, let's start with the overall hardware of the watch. What you'll be looking at, interacting with, and feeling all the time. First, the screen. This one here is the 44mm version, but you can also get the 40mm version as well. Either way, the screen is very good. It's pretty sharp. It has 326 pixels per inch, which is decently sharp for even smartphones actually. If you remember, that's what Apple calls a Retina display, and they use the same number of pixels in the Series 6. But the Series 6 is a watch, so the screen is much smaller, so it looks even sharper. Basically, it's a very high quality screen, especially for a watch. It's not just sharp though, because it's also pretty bright. The screen brightness goes up to 476 nits, and that basically means you have no problem seeing what's on the screen, even when outside in direct sunlight, for the most part. If the sun is really reflecting off the screen, then maybe you have a bit of a problem, but I really wouldn't worry about it. It gets pretty bright. Now, in case you're curious, on the other side of things, the screen also gets very dim as well, so it's not too bright during nighttime and won't hurt your eyes when your eyes aren't ready for too much light. Like when you want to use your phone, for instance, in the middle of the night, and then it just blasts you in the face with all that light. Well, with the Apple Watch, this doesn't happen. The brightness will get very low in the middle of the night. Now, I didn't say the brightness can get very low though. I said the brightness will get very low. Like with the Apple Watch and the auto brightness, I just find that when I need it to be dim, things are dim. When I need it to be bright, things are just bright. Like, I just trust it. My eyes are just never strained, basically. It's just pretty good with the auto brightness. As far as how it physically feels though, I'll say the Series 6 feels premium. Not in a major way like a Rolex or a Patek or some other fancy watch though, right? Because those have sharp corners and they feel very metallic-y and like premium, With the Apple Watch, it's different. It's still premium and there's still metal. And if you really want to go premium, you could always customize yours to be as premium as Apple lets you. But even with just this combination I'm using here, with the aluminum and the solar loop band, which is actually pretty seamless by the way, the watch still feels very well built. But anyways, by now you already know the design of the Apple Watch. I mean, we're on the 6th generation now, but the round corners and the metal meets curved glass design still feels pretty nice and premium in your hand, and because of the way it's built, it will stay comfortable on your wrist as well. And also, just like before, the crown still feels very good. It feels very nice, responsive, and it turns very smoothly. But what I really like about it is how it works with the vibration and everything. If you've used this before, then you already know what I'm talking about, As you turn the knob, you get feedback with like vibration or like a light tap, that Apple thing that it does with every small increment. And you can just really like feel it and feel it. It's just nice feeling. But yeah, all in all, the design isn't really anything new, You could always choose to customize yours though, and Apple gives you a bunch of options to do this, and they also have third-party options if that's what you want as well. But like I said, there's not much really crazy new when it comes to design. When it comes to the software experience though, the user interface, the features, the apps, and just the way you'll be interacting with the watch, well, things aren't crazy new here either. You can have the latest watchOS software even if you're using older watches as well, so the experience isn't really different. Using it every day though, you see that you can navigate through the UI pretty smoothly. You can still do all the stuff you expect to, like you get a message and you can respond to it with a quick prompt if that's what you want to do. But if you really want to say exactly what you want, you can always just use your voice and the Apple Watch will convert it into text for you. And I find that using voice recognition is the best way to respond to messages, especially when you want to send something long, like a whole paragraph or something. Because you can't use a quick prompt for that. And you can use handwriting though, but that's gonna take forever. Even though handwriting works pretty well, for the most part, again, like it's just harder with big fingers and like putting one letter at a time. It's cool, but it's not so nice in practice, at least for me. But basically, all in all, the software experience is smooth and responsive. Like there's not much to complain about here. But at the same time, it's not going to be different from your experience on other watches as well. It's smooth and responsive and it's cool, but it is not new. When it comes to the software experience, everything is familiar, like you've used it before, basically. Now, another familiar but still very good, maybe even the best part of the Apple Watch we haven't talked about yet, is its health and fitness features. Like I said, it still does everything you'd expect. Like you can track your workouts, like just about any workout out there for the most part. If you can't find a specific workout though, you can actually track it in other ways, like putting it under a similar workout, but just with a third-party app. But you should be able to find whatever workout you're looking for though, because the Series 6 gives you a lot of options. It also just automatically tracks your steps and your activity level as you go through the day. And with the whole ring thing, like the circular progress bar system, or just rings, you always just feel like you have to close up your rings for the day. Like you have to. If not, you've not really been successful that day. And since everything is set to your individual fitness goals, honestly, sometimes it just feels like you're a healthier person and like a better you just by having the Apple Watch on. The Apple Watch system just really psychologically encourages you to achieve your goals, you know? It's not just with the rings though, it's also because of the fact that you can't just let your friends beat you in a competition. And don't get it twisted, with the Apple Watch, you're in competition with all your Apple Watch friends. It's just embedded into the whole experience. Like you can see exactly how your friends are doing and if they're accomplishing their goals or not. And at the same time, of course, they can see you and all your progress too. So when you see your friends have been accomplishing their fitness goals, you kind of just have to accomplish yours at that point because you don't want to lose, you know? It's also kind of unfair though, or maybe I should say it's all relative, like it's all subjective, because your friend could set very low goals and accomplish them, and then you set very, very high goals, like crazy overachieving goals, and if you don't accomplish them, then it's gonna look like your underachieving friend, let's say his name is Ricky, it's gonna look like Ricky is doing better than you, even though you're absolutely not doing better, Ricky. You're an underachiever, and we both know who's winning. We both know. But it's not a competition though, guys, you know? So you don't really have to think like that. But if it was a competition though, just know Ricky will be losing, okay? Anyways, when it comes to the health and fitness features, the Apple Watch is one of the best out there. Now, I don't want to say the best though, just because I haven't used some of the cool smartwatches out there, but the Apple Watch is definitely excellent at promoting that healthy lifestyle. It even has a bunch of safety precautions that would automatically activate, like if it detects something wrong with your heart rate or something more serious, like a life-threatening condition or whatever. But luckily, I didn't really get to test that in my experience though, you know, thank God. But if anything happened, the Apple Watch could have really helped me out, you know? Now, if you notice, I'm saying the Apple Watch. I'm not saying the Series 6, right? And that's because these things aren't specific and exclusive to the Series 6. All these features, you can get them like in basically any Apple Watch you can get your hands on today. See, the Series 6 experience is really polished and it's seamless, but there aren't a lot of new features made just for the Series 6, you know? Actually, we're talking about extra features. The Series 6 does have one extra feature that is exclusive to it, and that is the blood oxygen sensor. Now I say new, and yes, that is correct. It is the first Apple Watch to get this feature, but come on, it's not really a new feature, and it's not that big a deal either, in my opinion. I remember I used to have some Samsung phones back in the day that would come with a blood oxygen sensor, and apart from showing it off to my friends and stuff like once or twice, I probably used it seriously like 3 times in all the years I had it, and it always gave me like a 90-something% reading every time. Samsung doesn't even include it anymore. And with the Series 6, it basically feels like deja vu. Like, I'm sure it's gonna be useful to some of you out there. And if you're one of those people, I'm sure you know yourself and you know it's important for you to keep track of your blood oxygen level. And you probably were doing it with some other means before the Apple Watch, right? But if you're like most people, I bet you probably use it like me, which means you barely ever use it. I do like to have the option though. I mean, it doesn't hurt anything. Now, as far as other extra features, there are some cool little software things the Series 6 does. Like it can detect the noise levels around you and like warn you when it's too loud. It can actually even pair with your hearing aids if you use them and if they're compatible. Oh, and we can't forget, they are still waterproof. Well, water resistant. And that's very, very useful in a smartwatch. Like I'd say it's basically necessary at this point actually. It also has a fun little compass that looks really cool and works really well, even though I never use it. And there's just some other little nifty things sprinkled around the whole software experience. I wouldn't say they're very useful though, because like I said, I barely use them, and I was even going out of my way sometimes to try out a bunch of them, but none of them really stuck with me, you know? Now, one feature that I thought would be very useful, and actually is, except when it isn't, is the sleep tracking feature. It's supposed to basically keep stats on your sleep, like how long you slept, if you woke up in the middle of the night, if you were tossing and turning, and give you all that data. And it does work, like you can see the stats for yourself, but it's kind of tricky because I don't know if I trust the stats completely like all the time. Like, see, I have no proof or anything, but sometimes if you ask me, I'd say I slept pretty well. Like I had a good night's rest. But then you ask the Series 6 and it'll tell you that I was suffering or having nightmares or something, or whatever explains the gaps in the graph of when I thought I was sleeping, but the Apple Watch said I must have been awake for some reason. So basically, I don't think the sleep tracking is completely accurate all the time. Actually, no, I think it is accurate, but maybe not for tracking sleep exactly. I bet it's probably very accurate for tracking like movement or heart rate or just whatever it does to like put in the gaps in the graph or whatever. It's not a big deal and it does work pretty well overall, but still, I don't like that I can't completely rely on it for my sleep tracking, just like I hoped, you know? Now, speaking of, when it comes to the not so good things about the Series 6, like, you know, the notable flaws or just major annoyances that I found in the experience of using a watch that I think are worth mentioning, I didn't really find any of this. Like, I don't think there are any objective deal breakers with the Series 6. I mean, there are some things I don't like though, like the watch band, for instance. Most of the Apple Watch experience is very smooth and seamless, but taking off the band and putting it back on isn't a part of that. It's pretty annoying actually. I mean, I have pretty big fingers though, and you need to push these small buttons to be able to slide the band off, and that just doesn't work for me, you know? I need to use like a pin or something just so I don't stress myself. It's not that big a deal though, of course, because how often do you actually need to remove the band and put it back on? I only really needed to do it when I was shooting this video actually, and like during setup and a couple of other times. There's just some other minor things that I'd prefer to work better, like the hand washing feature, for example. It's pretty inconsistent for the most part. It's supposed to come out automatically when it detects you're washing your hands and start a countdown timer for you so you wash your hands for a good amount of time. But you'll be washing your hands and the feature just won't turn on. But then sometimes it'll detect you are washing your hands and then it'll turn on and start a timer. But then as you're still washing your hands, it'll be like, nah, never mind, you're not washing your hands right now. And then it'll stop the timer and just go off. And then some other times, it'll just work flawlessly. I think it tries to detect you're washing your hands through the microphone, like it wants to hear the sound of a tap or something. So if your tap isn't so loud, it'll probably make mistakes. That's what I found in my experience. But really, it's not that big a deal. Like, I don't really care about this, not at all. Now, another small thing. Remember how I said the experience with the Series 6 is seamless with the workouts and the steps and activity tracking and all the health and fitness stuff? Well, it's true. It is seamless. It works pretty well. But at times, I'm not sure how much I can trust it because it makes some mistakes. Like sometimes I'll just be chilling by myself, just sitting and relaxing. And all of a sudden, the Series 6 will say I've accomplished my goal for the day. Like my standing goals, for instance, while I'm sitting down. I mean, hey, props to me though, I'll take it. But deep inside, I know that I didn't really completely earn it, But hey, at least I get to beat Ricky though, And that's what's really important here. Well, anyways, this doesn't really bother me too much because you will earn the bulk of like your activity goals and everything. The Apple Watch will just sometimes just do that thing when it adds a little bit on top, and sometimes it will just accomplish the goal for you because you just need that little bit more, If I had to say one thing I do care about though, and I actually don't like about the Series 6, then I'll have to go with the battery life. The battery life is, well, what you'd expect from a modern Apple Watch by now. Like, it's not crazy bad or anything, don't get me wrong. It's not like a major downgrade from the Series 5 or anything. It's basically just about the same actually, basically. When it comes to how long you can actually use the watch, Apple says you should be able to get about 18 hours of battery life, and that's probably just about right. Actually, maybe they're underrating it a little bit, but I find I have to charge it every day. If not, the battery will be dead, even if it makes it into the other day or something. It charges back pretty fast though, so actually in real life, it's not really a problem. But still, having to charge it every single day, I don't know, I feel like a day's worth of battery life just isn't enough with the watch, But like I said, in real world use, it's not a big deal at all. You just have to charge it every night when you're sleeping. But then that means you're gonna take it off, and that means you won't be able to use the sleep tracking feature. And if you ever forget to charge it one night, and you have to go somewhere early in the morning, you're gonna be screwed, because the battery will just be dead. And if it isn't, well, it will be soon, before the end of the day. So personally, I'd have liked the battery life of any watch basically to last multiple days. But like I said, it's not really a big deal in the actual experience of using a watch.
Well, anyways, that's about it. That's about all you need to know about the Apple Watch Series 6. You probably noticed that most of the stuff in the Series 6 has been there from the old generations and everything, like the battery, you still have to charge it once a day, and all the features apart from the blood oxygen sensor and everything. But it is still the best watch Apple has to offer, and it is pretty good overall. But what do you think about them? Do you think they're great? Do you think they're bad? Do you think like Apple could have done more and it's just like the old generations, like completely? Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and thanks for watching.